I hope you don't hear the music outside too much. My son is rehearsing with a friend. Actually, he's recording some stuff for other friends, and we can hear the music. I can hear it, but I'm not sure that you can hear it. Anyway, I wanted to talk about an article that I found on Snow in Berlin. It's a website. I will give you the link below. It's a very interesting website because you find basically all the articles written, or almost, written about Tok Tok or about Mark Hollis. Some are very good, some other are much less interesting, some are very mean. I don't care much for the mean ones. It doesn't interest me, but what interests me, it's what Mark Hollis or the other of Tok Tok have to say. So the article is from the magazine Electronic Soundmaker and Computer Music. It's from July 1984, so of course you are going to say, who cares about an article which is 31 years old? But actually I care, because what they are saying is still valid today. It didn't change. Some stuff have changed, but the principle is the same. And I think it's really very interesting. So I'm not going to read everything because it's rather long, but I just, as you can see, I just put in pink what seems really very interesting to me. And here the magazine was like this. I'm sorry, it's very small, but you can see that was the cover of the magazine, which is talking about that. The most important, the most interesting is at the end of the article, so if you want to hear about it, please wait until the end of this video. But Mark Hollis is saying very important things at the beginning as well, so I want to talk about it. So he says basically that Today and Tok Tok were the two singles of The Party's Over, actually the two success of the first album, The Party's Over. He's basically speaking about the beginning. He says something funny. He's not funny for him, but it makes me laugh. He says that first album was, moderately successful, but nothing more than that. All I've ever wanted from this thing is to make good records, and they are allowing us to do that. So if for him it was moderately successful, well, I don't know how many albums they sold, but I remember really well of the songs Today and Tok Tok. I can tell you that in France it was a huge success because it was passing on the radio all the time, all the time, all the time. So, okay, maybe it's moderate for him. It's huge for me. Okay. Yes, Paul Webb says, looking back on it, it feels a bit dated, but it had the energy, and that's what Tok Tok was all about at the time. Yes, I confirm. For me, when I think of Tok Tok during the first album, it's a lot of energy. That's exactly how I remember them. So it's right. And then the journalist is asking why Simon Brenner left. Simon Brenner was the guy on the keyboard, and he was at the beginning and then he disappeared. So that was interesting to read this because I was wondering why. So why did he leave? Did he fall or was he pushed? Harris, the Quiet Man speak. Musical differences. Yeah, actually, when you read what is following, it's exactly that. The journalist says, the care to elaborate, Hollis, and Mark Hollis says, each album should be a definite move on from the one before it. No, you see, some people understand that and other people don't. Some people think that if you have a gift with something like Today, then what you should do is maintain that style, and that will ensure more hits, right? Anything to add, Webb? It was just obvious that it wasn't working with him. He's still our friend and everything, but I haven't seen him for over a year. So that is something really very important what they are saying. A lot of artists, when they have a success, a hit, they think that they should stick to this thing. For example, no, I don't have any example. I don't want to backtalk about anybody. But, you know, I grew up in a musical family. My mother was a singer in France, and she had a hit in 1968. And she had a hit by doing a song which was really very different from what she used to do before. And she thought then, okay, this kind of songs is a hit, so I'm going to continue in this style and this kind of songs. And she then had more success also with these similar songs for a very specific audience. I didn't like this kind of music, I can tell you. I grew up and I was fed with some money earned thanks to music I hated. So I don't want to talk badly about that because I was fed by this music, so I can't criticize. But I didn't like this kind of music, and I didn't like this approach, because I think that we should be passionate about what we are doing in music. And I think that when you repeat yourself, when you do again and again and again the same song, I don't think you can remain passionate about what you are doing. I think that music as art is a research for something better, new, an improvement, a development, going forward, not staying all the time by the same way. My mother continued with this kind of songs, and of course success, and a little less success, and a little less success, until no success at all. Of course, because at a point people are bored and they are not going to buy again and again and again the same song, even if it's not exactly the same song, it's exactly the same style. And I don't think we should do music like that, you know. That's not right. It's not good. And I think that Hollis is right. Changing for every album is a lot. For me, I think, wow, it means really going forward and improving really fast. But maybe for him it's what was necessary to stay alive. And yeah, probably doing another album by exactly the same way, boring. You know, that's probably, he didn't want to get bored, and I can understand that. And you know, when you repeat yourself, you are not really thinking about what you are doing, you are just doing the same thing. You know, just doing these videos, I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't do them by the same way every time because I'm repeating myself, but the subject here is not to present myself nicely and differently, and one day like that and one day the hair like that. No, the point is what I'm saying. So all what you see doesn't matter. What is important is the subject. So it's not a big deal if I'm doing it by the same way. Even if I change something, you see my canvas is turned on the, you can't see the painting anymore. It's because I want to show it only when it's completely done. Otherwise you are going to get bored about this painting, and I certainly don't want that. So okay, I'm going to continue with this. Okay, then there is something very important. They are talking about how Tim Friese-Greene brought something to the group. So that is interesting because I didn't know how they were working. and what was the Tim Friese-Greene part and what was the Hollis part. So that's good. So it's written. Talk Talk's new album, It's My Life, is a much more varied and complex album than The Party's Over, partly because of the band's greater maturity and Hollis' undoubted songwriting talents, but largely one suspects as a direct result of Tim Friese-Greene's stunning production, a refreshing change from Colin Thurston's routine work on their previous records. Okay, I'm not going to read everything, but I will read only what is very important. What was good about him was he just produced 3 records that were in totally different areas of music, all very well, and he hadn't imposed a production sound on any of them. You get producer like Spector or Steve Lillywhite, and you know that producer in a lot of cases before you know who the band is. That's true. Some producers do exactly the same thing on many songs, no matter what is the group. That's not good. It's not like that it must work. That's not good. And he was, so Mark Hollis is talking here, and he was obviously someone who was really good at listening to songs. Listening is very important. It was just a matter of getting together with him and seeing if he was a gambler. I love that. I love that. That's exactly how artists should be working and how producers should be working. You know, a lot of producers have exactly the same recipe, the same way of doing the thing, and they stick it on everything, and it's such a pity because sometimes it ruins completely the music. So he understands, Mark Hollis is still speaking, he understands totally the spirit of music. He's concerned, you know, that things are correct, but he would never let technical perfection hinder feeling, because to him that is the most important part of anything, what it is to all of us. Oh. So this Tim, I start really liking a lot this Tim Friese-Greene, because for him feeling comes first and technique comes after. Wonderful. I have nothing to add. I think that's exactly how art should work. We don't care about technique. You know, technique anybody can learn. Feeling, spirit, not easy for everybody. Okay, what was great about him is that anything we wanted to try, he'd go for. When we wanted animals on there, when we wanted to reamp synthesizer, you know, up like old Beck did with the Yardbirds, try it, you know. But he's not only go try it, but he'd not only go try it. You see, I'm speaking Cockney right now. When you explain the idea, he would work his hardest to make it a little bit better for us. That is a professional man. So what did Tim Friese-Greene get out of working with you? Hollis smirks. He got a lot of money out of working with us, he admits. No, he enjoyed working with us. You are cynical. Probably he made a lot of money, but he probably enjoyed working with them as well. I'm arriving at the most important part of this article, the reason why I chose this article, because I will explain after. The journalist says, okay boys, the $1 million question. What makes you different from 100 other bands? Mark Hollis answers, we don't try and make records that are obviously commercial. I think there are elements of commerciality within. Such a Shame, for example, is not an obviously commercial lyric. I don't think that changing personality through throwing a dice is a thing that people can identify within in the same way as give me a smoosh or something. You could have something there, Hollis. Yeah, I think that Mark Hollis has something here. You know what? Actually, right now, I would think more about throwing a die and see what is the result and what is going to be my future, rather than getting a smoosh because first I don't see who is going to give me a smoosh. Second, the people who want to give me a smoosh, I'm not so interested. So maybe Mark Hollis is not totally right. Actually, the dice is a very interesting subject according to me. I'm joking. Anyway, let's go back to this. The most important thing he's saying here is the most important thing is basing things around songs rather than arrangements. Over the last few years, very much of the music has been based around arrangement. This album, It's My Life, is based around songs. We went in with the songs and an idea of the mood and had endless time and facilities to try different areas in arrangement. So, that is essential what he just said. I will explain to you why. When I used to make some music with my ex-husband, I'm not going to make listen to you because everything is on tapes and I don't have a tape player, and anyway I'm not sure that I'm so proud about my product. Maybe I should listen to my songs again. Yeah, maybe I have a bad memory about that, but I will explain to you. My husband, ex-husband, had a very particular way to compose music. He was starting with arrangements. He was playing chords, harmonies, mood. And then he was counting on me to write the lyrics, what I was able to do. But me, to write lyrics, I need the melody. But there was no melody. There were only arrangements. But he was telling me, no, you must write the lyrics by creating the melody on my arrangements. And I could do that because, you know, it's very easy to create a melody when you have the arrangements. At least for me, it's easy. Give me some arrangements, give me some chords, you know, play several chords, one after the other, like to give a mood, you know, and I'm going to create a melody on that. It's very easy. I don't know, but I think that anybody can do that. It's very easy. And once you have the melody, it's easy to write the lyrics because you can almost hear the lyrics while you are creating the melody. But according to me, that's not a way to create music and to create a song, at least. The right way, according to me, is to come with a melody, to create a melody, and then someone is going to create the arrangements around the melody and not the contrary. That is the right way to do. And I was arguing with my ex-husband all the time because I was telling him, you must create the melody, otherwise you are not the one who created the song, I'm the one who created the song. And he was answering me, but no, because you wouldn't have found the melody if I hadn't played the chords and the arrangements before. It was true, but a song is a melody. A song is something that you can sing. You can't sing chords. You can't sing arrangements. That is just a decor, you know? It's like if I was doing a painting and I was asking someone else to put the colors on the canvas, and then according to how the colors are organized, I would create a pattern or a topic or something on the canvas. It's possible to do it, you know, it's doable. But that's not the right way, because I will explain why it's not the right way. Because a painting is first an intention, a topic. You come with an idea, you want to represent something or not, if it's an abstract painting, but still, even if it's an abstract painting, it translates a feeling and it must be your idea. And then once you did the main thing, the rest will happen around. It's not the most important. My ex-husband was not doing that, and not only him, a lot of group and musicians were doing exactly like him. And that is the difference between a good song and a bad song. Because when someone created a song, a melody on arrangements, it's what I call filling the blank. It's not what I call creating a melody. The melodies are always much better when they are created first. The melodies are always much better when they are created first. But it is the most difficult thing to do. It happened to me to create a melody out of the blue. It happened to me to dream of a melody by sleeping and then remembering it in the morning and writing it, well, recording it, because I'm not good enough to write music now. Maybe later I will learn and I will be able to do it, but it's possible for me to create a melody, but very hard, very hard. It happened to me maybe 3 times in my life, what is nothing. But it's true that I don't train myself, I don't force myself to do it. But a lot of musicians, group, they create songs just by starting from an arrangement or from a gimmick, from an idea, from a rhythm, and they start doing around that and they create a song. It's not what I call a song. That's not a song. That's just some music, some random music. And I think that's why talk songs are really good, because they are all thought with the melody first, with the lyrics, and then they arrive with the arrangements and the mood and all what goes around the melody. That's how we are supposed to do. And that is the hardest way, but that is the most quality, the best way to do it. Even my son, sometimes he composes songs. I can tell you which one he started with the melody and which ones he started just with arrangements. We can so much see the difference. The quality, it's one is there, the other one is there. And it was driving me crazy, because my ex-husband, and I'm not saying that to to talk about my ex-life with as a married woman. No, I'm just talking about music here. It doesn't mean that he was not a great guy. He was a great guy, but he was going to what was the easiest, and it was driving me crazy, because that's not the good way. And I was so glad, so happy to read this, because I thought, okay, I'm not crazy. I didn't dream. I'm not the only one to say it, and someone very, very talented is saying it, and someone who composes music and who makes a living from his music. So I'm not completely stupid. I was so glad to have found that. And that's why I wanted to share it with you, because it's so important. If you make music, do the effort to find a melody first. Even if it takes weeks, even if it takes months, even if it takes a year, find a melody. Then the lyrics will come, or maybe you will ask someone to write the lyrics. Maybe you don't know how to write lyrics. But then the arrangements are a pleasure, because it's just to enhance the melody. It must not hide the melody. On the contrary, it must reveal the beauty of the melody. When you start with arrangements, you are going to have a melody which is going to look like nothing, which is going to be there just to fill the blank, and that nobody will remember because it's not good. And you can't imagine how many people do that. That's crazy. Okay, so then they are talking about the instruments, the gears they were using. Kerno uses two Jupiter 8S and a DX7. So a DX7, that's what my ex-husband had. I really liked a lot this keyboard. It's a very good keyboard. I love the sounds it makes. There's an Oberheim OBX, my JP8, and some PPG. I don't know what is PPG. If someone knows, tell me, because I searched on the net and I didn't find what means PPG. They are all colors and stuff, but the bulk of it from my end was JP8. Pete Evans, the other keyboardist, is using yet another JP8. Sorry, we say G in French, so it's very confusing for me. A Korg. Oh yes, a Korg. I think my ex-husband has had a Korg. A Korg Poly 61 and a Yamaha CP80. So he says, Marcolis says something really great here. We tried to use synthesizer from the point of view of unnatural instruments. That's great. We try to use a synth sound as you would use a Fairlight or whatever. A Fairlight is a machine, a very expensive machine. It used to be very expensive then, to sample sounds and to create sounds, and it was very fancy then. My ex-husband wanted a Fairlight, but we never had the money to buy it. It was so expensive. You'd get a particular string sound where you say, oh, that's obviously a string. You play with the sound and make it into something that hasn't been heard before. So that's great, because with keyboards, most of people were trying to create the sound of an acoustic instrument, gear, but of course it's never going to sound exactly that something acoustic. But his way of doing is much more interesting. That's much more fun. Paul, how did you get that incredible bass sound on Such a Shame? So, Paul answers, I played it on my lap and plucked it with my screwdriver. That's my secret. Okay, that's interesting. What basses do you use then? I've got two, a Wal fretless and a Kramer fretless, of course, going through a Boss Flanger pedal. Another secret. Harris had disappeared by this point, so I had a crafty look at his setup. He's got a Rogers kit with Simon's SDS5 toms and effects, and a Roland TR-808. So a Roland TR-808, it's you know, it's fake drums. It's a machine which pretends to be drums. I think that my ex-husband had a Roland TR-707. I don't think he had 808. It's very typical from the 80s, you know, this sound. Linked to a CR8000 drum machine, which also supplies the click track. Also, the click track is probably the click which gives you the rhythm, the beat, because some drummers have a tendency to go faster or to go slower. Usually when you are a good drummer, you are not supposed to move from the beat, you know, but with the click, you know, Keith Moon was great, but at a point he needed the click because he was not really always on the beat. It's very hard, you know, to have the beat here, not obvious. And at the end, Mark Hollis says, let's just fucking move on another year, make a fucking good record that we are all happy with. That's the main thing. If the record sells well, it's great for us, because then we've got the best of everything. We are making records exactly the way we want to make them, and we are being allowed to continue to make them because people are buying them. Yes, doing what you love and being sold, that's the best. The most important thing... Oh, sorry, my oven. Okay, I'm back. Okay. Where was I? The most important thing about all of this is making good records. If people buy them, then it's a nice little bonus. Big bonus. If it doesn't happen, then it's tough in it. It's fucking back to the factory. So the journalist says, the party's over? Somehow I doubt it. Of course, the party was not over. They made very good records, and better and better. I can't say better and better, I would say, and different and different and different, but still with the high quality. And I love the spirit, the way they were working. I think that's exactly how music should work. We would have a lot more quality music if everybody was doing like they were doing. I absolutely wanted to share this article with you because for people who are doing music, I think it's a great lesson to learn from that. If one day in your life you do a song and it's a hit, a great success, don't think that because you are going to do a second time the same song, not the same, but in the same way, it's going to be a success again. It doesn't work like that. Sometimes a success happens because it's the right song at the right time for the right audience, because you had the right feeling and the right energy and the right joy, and everything was perfect for working. It doesn't mean that you can repeat this configuration again. No, you must do what you love, and then the success happens or not. When I'm doing videos here, I'm not going to repeat myself. I'm not going to do always the same videos. Even if I see that one video has a lot of success and that everybody is watching it, it doesn't mean that I'm going to do it twice. Here I really wanted to do this article. Why? Because it's interesting, and I think that it's how everything should be in art. In everything you do, you should first think, do I like it? Do I want to do it? Will I give the best of myself to do it? If the answer is yes, go for it.